Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Abrar Kangori and I am student of BCS department in COMSATS University Islamabad. Today the topic of my discussion is democracy versus dictatorship in Pakistan. What is democracy? A democracy is a type of government elected by the local bodies and exercised by them directly. It is the most experienced and common type of government. As Abraham Lincoln said, government of the people, by the people, for the people. Democracy. People elect their own government. They are ruled by the people of their own choice. There is no one party government in the country. A common person is considered as the primary elected government. Merits of democracy. Local body government in which people are free to choose their rulers. People have the liberty of speech. Public questions are decided by the will of the majority. People get the chance to change the governing bodies. It is a legal form of government. Voters have the opportunity to select the person who they believe can serve them in a favorable manner. They have the freedom to choose their head by the general elections. Demerits. This caused the election of some eligible persons. Democracy causes corruption and bribery. Illiterate people can sometimes choose the people on caste and creed basis. It is an expensive mode of government, as the people representatives are influenced by heavy bribe that leads to corruption. Dictatorship: a type of government in which the whole governing body is controlled by a single individual or a single group of people. Dictatorship in which a single personality governs all the authorities. Dictatorship is an illegal form of government in which power is used to overcome the people. It has been proved unfriendly. Some merits of dictatorship. It is a more stable government, less room for corruptions. It is more efficient during emergencies. It has less crime rates. It has more stronger economy than democratic government. Demerits of dictatorship. The most unfriendly type of government. People sometimes have not the freedom to speak and express their views against the government. People have to just follow the orders. Military is the worst type of government in dictatorship. In Pakistan, democracy is a democracy or the dictatorship. In Pakistan, there has been conflicts between the military and the civil leadership. For about 30 years in history, one time we had dictator leadership and other time we had democratic leadership. As for now, we are in a dictator leadership. Dictatorial regimes in Pakistan. Field Marshal Ayub Khan's regime. He ruled for about 10 years, from 1958 to 1969. His regime is said to be the industrial and reforms era. It is the most developed decade in the history of Pakistan. Pakistan was self-sufficient in industrial and agricultural sector. Dictatorial behavior of Ayub Khan rose rage of people against him. He tried to overcome it by the use of power that leads to the separation of East Pakistan. Constitution of 1962 was launched by Ayub Khan in which all the supreme authorities was owned by him. After resignation, he handed the government to General Yahya Khan. Yahya's policies against the East Pakistan caused the formation of Bangladesh. Like Ayub era, many industrial and agricultural reforms were introduced. Pakistan started its nuclear program and Zia was able to stand against external pressures. Military was made more strong and efficient. Many new reforms were introduced that could lead benefits to the common people. Islamization was introduced and all the non-Islamic activities were strictly prohibited. Pakistan had higher GDP rate in the history of Zia era. General Musharraf's regime. After the Zia-ul-Haq, general elections were held which allowed Pakistan People's Party to make the government. This government could not exist for a long time as they were accused of corruption. Then came the era of Nawaz Sharif which too could stand for a long time. From 1988 to 1999, no government could stand more than 3 years. This decade was said to be the failure of democracy in Pakistan. At last, General Pervaiz Musharraf suspended the constitution and chose the designation of Chief Executive of Pakistan for himself, dissolving the government. From 2000 to 2008, again this was the era of dictator. General Pervaiz Musharraf afterward declared himself as the President of Pakistan. This era is known to be the most economical era as many of the major industries were flourishing. Comparing democratic and dictatorial rule in Pakistan. As you can see, the first three graphs are of GDP growth rate are in dictatorial rule, while the other graph are under democratic. Ayub Khan's and Zia era are known as the era of development and peace. Highest GDP rate was observed. Likewise, unfortunately, every democratic government was blamed corrupt and based on national as well as international disputes. Modification of irrigation system, installments of various industries, betterment of foreign affairs, strong defense amendments of nuclear program, etc. All these were introduced and implemented in the dictatorial era. Democracy is the legal type of government in which the people from the citizens are offered to form the government, but a dictator takes over the government when national dispute and conflicts rises. In the history, dictatorial government has been proved to be the most economical and most administrative leadership. The reason is that the common person, some of the incompetent people are elected. They do not deserve to have the leadership. Foreign aids and funds are highly appreciated. What should we do then? As the democracy is the best form of government, so it should be appreciated as well as flourished. Our duty is to nominate and elect the most competent person. We should maintain a peaceful and administrative atmosphere in the country, even if it's going to criticize the government over any issue. We should maintain a cooperative atmosphere with the representatives of the government. Military and law enforcement departments should ensure a fair and free elections in the country. No one should have exemption facing the judiciary. Citizens should have awareness. In these ways, we can have a better democratic and peaceful atmosphere.